Welcome to the 5G podcast.
We're glad you're here.
We hope you enjoy our conversation about God, guns, games, goals, and gastronomy.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode. Talk about memes. Memes are great.
I'm sure we'll talk about some memes of human beings during the election stuff.
Yeah.
So funny.
Welcome to post-election America.
Trevor, they're taking away all my rights.
All of them are gone.
My rights are all gone as a transgender woman.
I apologized to my wife and I said, sorry, I took away all your rights as a white male. It's like, yeah. And she was like, yep, you bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't even white males. It was all males.
All male. That's true. All males. The Latinos, get them out.
Chinese, the Asian.
The Asian males?
Asians?
Nope.
I think the only one that didn't vote mostly right was
black males.
I think black males.
But Trump did.
He's pulled them closer.
Yeah, he closed the gap a good amount. So.
All right. Well.
Yeah. Politics.
Let's start.
Election results. If you hadn't heard, I don't know how you did in here, because even like people in Antarctica, I'm sure, heard on the internet.
Well, I'm sure people in mud huts in the middle of Africa heard.
Yeah. It was a pretty loud week.
You gave us your official endorsement of Trump last week.
That's right. I did. They sent me a T-shirt. No, I bought their T-shirt, which now I can still wear. I don't have to burn it or something. Trump 2024, he won.
Yeah. And the world is in flames, Trevor.
That's right.
It's the end of democracy.
That was weird.
It was very strange.
Was that like a jump scare? If we like roll back the tape, is it going to be like a creepy like monster? Like,
ooh, I hate thinking about that. Oh, it's just your light bulb.
Oh, it's just the light bulb.
Giving me an aneurysm.
Technical difficulties.
I just had. Oh wow, that's dark now.
Oh, that is dark. Okay, hold on. Let me swap the bulb. Ew, it's hot.
You got LEDs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trevor over here, master mechanic.
Oh yeah. They don't call me a chemical engineer for nothing. That's still darker, but at least one of the lights is at us. So that's
all right. It'll work.
It's doable.
Ryan will just fix it all up and make us look gorgeous in post.
We're gonna be like Photoshop, like handsome Squidward faces,
or the Chad meme, or like the
with the big beard and yes.
I love those memes.
The Giga Chad memes.
Yeah.
So anytime there's like a new video game, they're like, "How do I make Chad?" And the character creator, like, I die laughing. Low effort, but they're funny.
Most humor that is funny is low effort. If we're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
There's some very high effort humor that is also funny,
good, yeah.
But a lot of low effort humor, like, but it's more like a shotgun, right? You just throw out a ton of low effort humor, and like some of it is bound to hit.
Some of it lands, yeah, absolutely. And with the internet, you have an influx of it, so good stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, election night.
Your rights are gone. My rights are gone.
We're all going to be Nazis.
Yep.
You know?
Which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't like reveling in people's defeat, right? Like, but it's an election. Like, I don't know.
Someone had to win, someone had to lose, and 50% of the country was 49% of the country was gonna hate it, or 51% of the country was gonna hate it.
Like, get over it, move on. You're fine. Like, your local elections matter. There were like 12 states that had abortion rights on the ballot this time. Like, if that's your big concern, you're probably fine. Move on. That being said, while I don't revel in people's defeat, the internet was hilarious this week.
The internet was hilarious,
as we have joked.
I think that's kind of where we want to steer this. We're not going to talk about like, the policies of Donald J. Trump versus Kamala Harris are thusly.
And election fraud, you see.
You know, the funniest thing that I've seen
is that Arizona is still counting their votes as we're filming this.
What a joke, right?
I know we weren't going to go into this, but the best joke I saw was Arizona has electile dysfunction. I'm like, I've never heard that before, but that is very funny.
Well, Nevada too, but I think Nevada's done now.
I think they just finished overnight or this morning, so.
Yeah, Arizona's not going to be done until like next week, I think.
Yeah.
They said 10 days.
That's absurd.
I mean, I guess they have until January 6th anyway.
Technically,
Yeah.
sure, but
like,
yeah.
Anyway,
you were gonna say before I rudely interrupted
I
you.
think it's really funny to see all of the people in these other countries so happy or worried. You know,
Yeah.
they like the whole Earth's population, maybe not the whole Earth, but like all of Europe's population is just like the US where they're split 50-50,
Yeah.
it seems, right?
Right.
It's like there's some countries where it's like, this is a good thing. And there's some countries where like, no, all our rights are going to be taken away. It's like, you live in Europe. You don't have rights anyway.
Yeah. It is very funny. You're like, how about that? Humans have different points of views and we're supposed to like
also
come together and work on things.
You live in a different country.
Yeah. It's largely irrelevant to you.
I mean, the only reason you care is because we're your daddy.
That's true. But we're in charge of the world. And we're probably going to stop the wars.
I was thinking about this, and this is like, if Stephen was president and evil.
Okay. You were able to hide your evil tendencies for long enough to get to the presidency, or like people
like all politicians.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yes.
My thought was like, everyone's like, China's so evil, blah 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 blah, and it's like, well, like from their point of view, they're not.
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Exactly, right? So it's like
prequel memes.
And like, who's correct? So, and this is my.
Okay.
I'm trying to put my non-American hat on. Right?
Okay, yeah.
As just like a human, right? It's like, and
is that synonymous with your evil hat, or?
No, it's a third hat, kind of just like there,
hanging off the side. Yeah.
It's the Schrodinger's cat hat, right? You don't know what I am.
Cat in the hat.
Schrodinger's cat in the hat. Is he there or not?
Yeah.
But I was like, if I were president of the United States and I just wanted to create like the strongest possible country on earth, I would just go to the president of China, and I would just be like, hey, bud, like we have our differences, but like we could run the world.
Yeah, just like
you and I could just like run this ish.
You and I could rule the world.
And like, you know how we have like NAFTA? It's like we could have like Nachina.
Whoa. Let's see. North America, China
Coalition.
There you go. The NEC. NEC is back, baby.
North American Industrial Chinese Coalition.
There you go.
NICA.
I love how all of those
say
deals,
that very slowly.
All those deals always say North America, like we include Canada in those for some reason.
Yeah, true.
I don't.
But like, think about it. It's like, oh yes, there's an American and Chinese coalition now, and like,
all right, world.
Who's good? Like, the world is your. That's like America, or that's like, well, I'm not gonna. Yeah. That's like if the Mongols and the Romans had like teamed up.
Sure, yeah.
And it's like, hey, the Romans, we're really good at making infrastructure, and you guys are not. So how about we be the infrastructure arm of the empire, and you guys be the
imperialist
everything.
Yeah. you grow the empire.
Yeah, and it's like we'll have our soldiers once you're through come in. Like you do all the honorable thing and fight the battle. We'll come in with our centurions and stabilize the region and everything like that. And guess what? Now we own all of Europe and Asia and Africa.
Yeah. It's pretty good. As the Mongols ride their horses in, the centurions behind are like paving the road, catching up to them. Like that's what they do.
Like,
and then boom.
So it's like, yeah, it's like there's like the 3 superpowers in the world right now. You could probably say there's 4 superpowers, but it's really just America 2.0. Well, America 0.5.
Oh, are they saying Europe? Oh, Europe.
I am. I don't know if people do, right? But I would consider there's like 4 main regions of superpowers, and it's Russia, China, America, and like Europe as a large.
Sure.
The EU, let's say. Right?
Yeah.
And then, but like,
interesting.
Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how we got off on that tangent.
No, that's fine.
America, Chinese.
It was your evil dictator mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, and taking everyone's rights away. That's right.
Yeah. Evil hat on.
Yeah. To some people, that's just a MAGA hat. But
sure, but dark MAGA hat.
The other people, it's the camo and orange Harris Walls.
Harris Walls.
I thought those were the funniest gimmick on the planet.
Those were weird.
I thought that was the funniest gimmick on the planet. They're so crap. Like,
why camo and bright orange?
Well, it's like supposed to like appeal to hunters.
Yeah, I know.
And like I get it. And like as an idea, it wasn't bad. But like in practice, it just made you look like a dork.
Execution, it was not great.
Well, and just the people who were wearing it. It wasn't like
the governor of Michigan.
Yeah,
well, that was a weird thing. But.
Which is crazy that. So I guess back to the political side, not the funny side. Trump won every single
like swing state,
except
for Arizona.
Well, but it's leaning that way.
Yeah, every single swing state that was polling like even or like, oh, this is a battleground, like it could go either way.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah,
he won the popular vote, which is crazy. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Random side tangent I wanted, because sometimes we always have a fun history tidbit about the Mongols, right? I heard this week in my, I don't know, history studies relating to climate change, right?
Oh, I know this.
You've heard this one, yeah. The Mongols like actually did more for climate change than probably like any other ancient civilization by decimating the population of the earth.
Indeed.
Yeah, like literally, they estimate they killed about 10% of the population. And
dropped the climate by like a substantial amount.
Yeah, they fixed the climate, like more trees were growing and all this. Like, oh, okay, yeah, good job, Mongols.
Well, and also there's like I think this is like 20% of humans on Earth have Genghis Khan's DNA.
Yes, yeah, I've heard that one. Like,
I don't know if it's the exact amount, but
we're all related to Genghis Khan.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That guy was insane.
Big ol' harem.
Yes.
This is just a me thing.
Why?
But like, how do you got the time? You're running an empire.
You're conquering constantly. Like
how do you have time to like do all that?
Yeah, right. It's
like you've got a harem. It's like, okay, you get like what? I mean, are you doing like 2 a day?
And I don't know how much of it, how much was he actually running his country? I don't know if we have the statistics on that. Like, did he have advisors to like help?
I mean, like once he died, the Golden Horde kind of like dissipated into like multiple hordes.
Yeah,
and so it's like
you had like
his son Kublai.
Kublai kind of took like a big portion.
Like, yeah, and like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, weird, right?
I don't know.
How do you have the time?
I certainly would.
No, dude, that's crazy.
Nor the stamina.
Running a country and fighting and that at home.
Yeah,
it's too much, man. It's too much stress.
For real.
Imagine how stressed he was.
Fiduciary responsibilities, fighting responsibilities.
We're gonna have some sympathy for Genghis Khan, man. I feel him as a man.
He must have been sore all the time,
dude.
Every part of it.
What was his secret? Like, how did he Did they lay in some nice like hot springs? I'm sure they've got those in Asia to like recover.
I'm sure Mongolia has some like nice hot springs.
Yeah, right.
I saw. This is like going to be the most tangential episode ever, but that's okay. I saw this video. It was like a 20-minute video. I watched the entire thing. Mongolian guy.
Okay.
Didn't speak a lick of English.
20-minute video, no English.
No English.
Okay.
Which made watching it on 2x speed really easy because I didn't know what he was saying anyway, so I didn't understand it.
Yeah, just read the subtitles.
But he was just like showing me around his yurt.
It's kind of cool.
Like caravan, and it's like, oh, these people are like. I didn't know this, but like the income. What is the? It's like
a form of currency.
The GDP per person.
Oh,
the GDP per capita.
Per capita, yeah.
Of Mongolia is like ridiculously high.
Okay.
And they're all like really well off.
Interesting.
And one of the main reasons is because they were like, oh yeah, we love living in our yurts and using ice, like boxes of ice that we have carved as our refrigerator for the meat that we've harvested. And also, I love Twitch streaming.
Wow.
And so they literally just like, instead of like industrializing and like moving to a big city and like getting a dumb 9-to-5 or whatever, they're just like
living in an apartment that's $3,000 in rent. Like,
yeah, they're like, I'm gonna go live in the countryside and have amazing internet
somehow
and move around wherever I want to because I live in a yurt.
Yeah, I'm a nomad, more or less. Like,
yeah, like a semi-nomad.
I can pack things up on my yak and move anytime I want.
Yeah,
like
it's like they just have their little tiny stout Mongolian horses that are a little bit shaggy and hairy and stuff.
Those guys look cool.
Yeah, it's like,
and then
they still dress like non-Western. You know? So it's like, oh, you guys just knew you guys did it perfectly.
I think so. Yeah,
it's like if I could go and just live in a cabin and just like hunt for and like subsistence live with like rare interactions with a town or city or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, and then I could also play CS whenever I wanted to.
Play video games, like you got great internet.
It's like
Twitch stream enough. Like if you're not paying, if your GDP is high, if you're like not paying taxes and you subsist off the land, you kind of do all your own stuff. Like
it's like
it's pretty good. You're not paying utilities or whatever. Like, nothing. That's pretty funny.
It's hilarious. It sounds like a great. Anyway, he was showing me his yurt, and I was like, this looks amazing. It's like cold on the outside, but they've designed these things over centuries to be like amazingly warm on the inside. They're all these real thick like tapestries that they use as like the walls and stuff like that, and they're it looks so comfy inside of those things. Just all the carpets on the ground, and they got like the chairs, and their bed is just like a bunch of carpets. And it looks just so comfy.
Dude, you're right. They did it right. They like jumped ahead the technology. Like the modern world came to them, but they didn't go to it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's cool. We'll take some internet.
Yeah.
I mean, some webcams. Boom, we're done. We're good. Yeah. That's all we need. They didn't
commit to the skill tree. They were just like, I'm going to dabble in that skill.
Yeah. Just going to jump over there and no, but you had to like, what about coal power and then you had to labor unions.
We do use coal.
Assembly line. Yeah. Steel. You have to use steel. Nah, I'm good.
I got wooden sticks and carpet. We're good.
Done.
And there are big cities in Mongolia, right? Like
definitely.
But like some of these people are just like, they look so happy.
If they're like GDP per capita is that good, like there's a lot of people who aren't. Yeah. You have to work your 9 to 5. That's how your society progresses. Nah. I'm good.
Do we need progress?
No, we're fine.
Sometimes I think that it's like, do we need any more?
I'm like, we're content. We're good here.
I mean, it's good that we like would do more, right?
Yeah. There's a part of me that's like, space would be cool. That's the next
I think we're in an interesting spot where it's like our society, as we have chosen to adapt, does need more.
Yeah, sure.
Just in terms of just like our culture, right? It's like
we're always innovating.
The American culture is one of innovation and creation and invention and discovery and exploration.
We're never content.
Exactly, which is fantastic. I am partial to that.
You can argue that's how it started, so that's how it's always going to be.
Yeah,
founding fathers.
There was a guy who is English, an English immigrant. I don't know. Anyway,
sure. He's from the UK.
He's an English immigrant. No, from some country in the Soviet bloc when he was young to England.
Okay.
He lives there now. Commentator, podcaster. He wrote a post after Trump won. Or is slated to win, whatever. Yeah. Saying basically, for all of my European friends and British friends who don't understand how Trump could win, here are 10 things that are uniquely American and the reason that he won.
Oh, interesting.
And it was very like, I was like reading, and I was like, yeah, that's like pretty true. And I didn't realize that most of them were like that way. I'll have to send it to you. I don't remember off the top of my head.
But it, like, you put things in the American context of like, yeah, we're a unique country, a unique mindset.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I don't have much to add. Go politics. Memes. All the memes were good.
And the videos and the TikToks. Everyone just dying.
The meltdown. I don't know how much of it was real, but anytime there's a meltdown, it's always funny that.
I mean, there had to be like.
People are like, I'm so emotional.
There's girls shaving their heads.
I know, right? I'm gonna shave my head. Quick, let me turn on the camera. Come on. Crocodile tears. That's wild. You're trying to get close.
But like, also, what a crazy reaction to a presidential election.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Kamala Harris won. I'm gonna cut off my nuts. It's like, okay.
Whoa, calm down.
I mean, you can do that now since she's president, but like.
Yeah, I vaguely remember 2016. There were a couple like big ones that were popular. Like, yeah, people
the
screaming.
Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, right. But I'm like, 2020, I don't remember. That one should be more current. I was like, I'm sure I went to school the next day and was like, all right, cool. Like,
yeah.
Like it wasn't that big of a deal because I was in class back then. I had a part-time job, so like, woo, whatever. Like, life continued.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I was a year and a half into school.
Whereas this one was like,
into school?
Oh, actually, I might have been online school because that was the end of 2020.
I was that was when we were playing Minecraft.
Yeah, exactly. I probably logged into Minecraft the next day, like, oh, hey guys.
That sucks.
No, that sucks. All right, whatever.
My drill.
Yeah, dude, check out what I'm doing here with these sheep or whatever. Like Minecraft, video games. I don't know. Life goes on.
Yeah.
The funny one that the memes about, right? You've seen a lot of the women protesting. I think they call them femcels sometimes.
Yeah.
Funny.
The 4B movement.
4B movement, which started in Korea, so it's Korean for like no dating, no sexual intercourse with men, no. I don't know. They're basically not interacting with men. They're like,
because all of them were interacting with men anyway.
Yeah, exactly. They're abstaining from that. That's it, men. You're not gonna get laid now because we're protesting, and it started in South Korea. So
guess what? Wah, wah.
Yeah, so it's like all the conservative Christians are like, no, don't do that.
Don't be abstinent like God wants you to.
You're right. Stop sleeping around. That's good protest. And they're like, yes, this is what we've been trying to tell you.
Yeah.
I found those funny. Like, dude, this is, yeah, all right. Conservative Christians, I see no problem with this. Like, sure, all right.
Do you know the your terms are acceptable meme?
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to stop sleeping around and stop being slutty. Your terms are acceptable.
Acceptable. Like, okay.
There's a lot of those in the gun community.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very funny. It's very, very funny.
I found that one comical. I'm like, I don't know how much of that is just content farming or how much of that is legit, but if it is legit, great. Good for you. I'm okay with that.
Craziness. If it's legit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That people are that.
About it's a national election. It shouldn't impact your like day-to-day relations with your people. I don't know. Like,
I saw a really good take, and it was if the founding fathers saw how much of an impact the president has, they would rewrite the Constitution to reduce powers even more.
Yeah. Hold on, that's too much, which is not a whole lot.
I mean, some of these agencies in the background, the executive branch is substantially powerful.
It's the problem of how much it's grown.
Yeah.
When like initially it was like, yeah, you deal with foreign affairs and you can veto bills because that's your checks and balance. Like, oh, and you appoint Supreme Court justices. Yeah.
All three. Wait, no, 7.
Oh, 7. 11?
5?
12? Are we packing the courts now?
Well, wasn't it 3 originally?
It was 3, but I think they had some what's the word, stipulation in there for like they accounted somewhat for the growth of the country, I think. But then it did eventually grow over time.
3 to 5 to
but I think
7.
it took an act of Congress.
I think it's an amendment, isn't it?
It might be an amendment.
No.
But it wasn't. No, it couldn't be an amendment like both times though, because it was 5 to 7. I do remember that 3 to 5 to 7. I have to double check.
It's just like an act of Congress.
But I'm pretty sure it's got to be like a supermajority. It can't just be 50% of Congress. They thought of a lot of things back there. Like even like amendments has to be the 2/3.
Well, 2/3, and then all
the states have to ratify. Yeah.
Which is
you can't just have one party control Congress and
60%.
think that they're in total control of everything.
Supermajority 60%.
60%, yeah.
I personally think all bills should be 60%.
That's a pretty good idea. Then everything's bipartisan and people can stop using that as a buzzword.
Yeah, for real.
So it's bipartisan.
It's like,
I don't care.
Either your policies are so popular that the party has won 60% and gained the majority in this situation.
Yeah.
Right? Or the policy that you're promoting
is good for everyone. Everyone agrees. A good majority agrees. Yeah.
I personally think that that's how it should be.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
I think elections can be 50-50.
Sure.
You know, majority rule, right, on the elections.
Mm-hmm.
But then to pass a law, it has to be a supermajority.
Is interesting with our lens now of like, oh, we barely get enough passed in Congress. But
I was listening to someone say it's like the reason that it feels like nothing ever passes Congress is because that's how it was designed. Is that it's not supposed to be passed.
Well, at the federal level, it's supposed to be slow.
Yes.
The states are supposed to be 50 little experiments. Mm-hmm. And then if something is good on a small scale, they'll try it on a big scale. But they take more time to think about things and say, hey, how is this going to work on a big scale? We only have this one little experiment in Florida or whatever. That's was with the whole abortion thing. Even liberal lawmakers back then were like, this is not good. Like the Supreme Court should not be writing this law. And so that's what they did.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg thought Roe v. Wade was horrible, and she was a very liberal.
Mm-hmm. So when they repealed Roe v. Wade, that was the decision. Trump back then was like, hey, no, we're going to send it to the states. Abortion's always going to start at the state level.
Which
is supposed to be 50 little experiments.
Which, guess what? It turned into something that has... Trump has said this. He's like, I didn't realize that it was going to go that way.
Yeah.
Like, many states have ratified some sort of abortion.
Yeah, up to some amount, you know, some amount of weeks.
Even red voting states, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think 12 states had it on the ballot this election.
Mm-hmm. So, and more have previously.
Yeah. So, like, that's how the government is supposed to work.
Too, didn't we?
Yeah, we had our first one in 2022, the midterms, and then we had another one this time. So,
do you know if it failed or passed?
They're still counting. It's looking like it was positive, like it's going to pass, to extend it to like 24 weeks or something. Yeah.
I don't know if I care enough, to be honest.
We already had 12 weeks from the midterm one pass.
Honestly, like...
We don't have to jump into that.
Yeah.
That's a hot button issue, and we're two males.
Steven just doesn't care about that topic.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not worth it.
I know a lot of people who it's like their number one topic, right? And like, it's not mine.
It's not worth the brain power.
It really isn't to me.
No. Again, it's at the states.
Who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the federal government, you're right, they should take slow. They shouldn't just do big bans.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Big approvals of anything.
Great because then it's like the policy, and then I think we would get so many more just one-page non-pork barrel bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like, you're never going to make 60% of people happy if the bill is 3,000 pages long and it has funding for everyone and their dog and their dog's toenails.
All of this stuff. Oh, hey, this lobbyist said I need to put this in.
Yeah.
So,
it's like, oh, yes, our Medicare for All bill also has anti-Medicare for All in Iraq because we're giving $300 billion to Raytheon.
Yeah, so everybody's happy now, right?
And it's like, then you have like the peace lobbyists or whatever who are like, well, no, justifiably. And then it's like, oh, well, maybe we should just have a single issue bills then instead of, oh, yes, hurricane relief, $300 billion to Ukraine.
That's not
what? Excuse me? Pardon me?
I think it's funny because, if you...
Also, what would $300 billion to the South that just got decimated by tornadoes do? Like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're getting really political.
Yeah, now it's partisan. We gotta stay impartial. We're not impartial.
I'm very partial.
Yeah, super partial. But the important thing is you make your biases known. I think everybody knows we have an eagle as our logo, so that's kind of
fair. God, guns.
Yeah, and we're two average guys talking about God and guns.
Legitimately average as well, because 50-something% of white males and other males in general, are right where we are. So.
That's true. Very true. So,
and we do have differing opinions on some aspects.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So it's like we're not just like unified in awe.
Stephen, this anarcho-capitalist over here.
Getting bigger and bigger as the days go on, friends.
And I am a small L libertarian because I'm not libertarian on some things. Because everybody can have different viewpoints.
You shall come to the dark side eventually.
It's not like, oh, I need this one label that fits me perfectly, and you also must fit in the same perfect label. No, dude. Everyone has different opinions on everything. That's the beauty of life.
I'm trying to make a joke about being like, I'm trying to make a joke of combining gender fluidity with political fluidity.
Oh, yeah.
And it did. I was trying to make the
connection. No, it's there though. I see the brainwaves. Come on.
They're just missing each other just barely.
You're so close.
Anyway,
we're done.
I'll be like 2 days from now. I'll be like,
We'll post it in the comments later. Done with politics.
Polyqueer? I don't know.
Done with serious topics. Now we just go on to topics that make Trevor angry. So angry. I am disappointed, not in this country, but I am disappointed in the Yakuza TV show.
Oh,
you gotta add something to the list?
I am gonna add something to the list right after you talk about this.
You think about joining the Yakuza?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, definitely I, but probably you, might know more about Yakuza culture than this show, which is unfortunate. Because they just did some weird things. Did you know the first game, Yakuza 1, that I've mentioned before, that got ported to Switch a couple weeks ago, highlight, was approved by the actual Yakuza. Like, they showed it like to the Yakuza, and they were like, hey, what do you guys think? They were like, thumbs up. It's a good game.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be. Like, you make a game called, I don't know, the Chinese Triads. Like, you should go talk to them and see if it's legit. Like,
for real.
It's kind of hard, I guess, if you're like, this game is about Al Capone. All right, we'll go past that. But
there's enough historical records about him in like biographies and autobiographies. I don't know about
talk to the experts, get it approved. This show, I have many things to say, and I've said some good things in the past, and those good things are still kind of there. Like, I thought the voice acting was good on the English side. I think the costumes look fun. They're cool. Those are the only good thing. Some of the special effects looked all right, but the one of the things that makes me mad is they seem like they don't know anything about Yakuza culture. In 2 separate scenes, they had characters like threaten or like claim like, oh, I'll cut off my finger to like make a statement or whatever. And I'm like, that doesn't mean what you think it means. The Yakuza cutting off like a nub of their finger is something your boss orders you to do for like an atonement.
Yeah.
In 2 separate scenes, they had a character who like he wasn't in the Yakuza yet, and he was like, I'll do it. I'm cutting off my finger right now in front of the boss of the Yakuza because he was like trying to join. It's like, it's not. You don't like choose to do that, and plus you're not in the Yakuza, so you're just some random idiot cutting off a nub of his finger. It doesn't mean anything if you're not in the Yakuza, if you're in the culture. And then there was a different scene where this girl again was trying to like atone because the premise of the plot, she's trying to like get the money back to this other Yakuza bigwig. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll cut off my finger right now. And like, I don't think he looked at her like dumbfounded enough, but he was kind of this older Asian actor. And he was just like, so I don't know if that was intended or if the actor was like, are you serious right now? Like, that doesn't mean anything. A, it's a woman. Sorry. Doesn't mean anything. And B, you're not in the Yakuza, and I didn't ask you to do that. So there's a couple little tidbits. Not that I'm an expert, but I know enough.
Yeah.
Like, that was dumb. I have finished the show now. I trudged through the last episode yesterday because I wanted to give you an accurate review of the whole show. And I'm just
give me out of 10, Trevor.
Out of 10, it's I can't even recommend it as a normal show, Steven.
Not even a 6.
It is a 4.
Oof.
It's a 4.
Oof.
There's 6 episodes. There's maybe about 10 minutes in episode 3 I enjoyed, and about 10 minutes in episode 4, and then maybe 2 minutes in the last episode. Like
a solid 1 anime length of time is like what you enjoyed.
Yeah, like
22 minutes.
If I could like clip those together, that would maybe be okay. Like,
yeah.
And I've never like watched a show before where I could easily pick out the pieces that I actually enjoyed and then hated the rest of it. Even a show that's mid, I'll finish the show and I'll be like, oh yeah, that was okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But I can't really pinpoint like what I exactly liked and didn't like. This one, yeah, 100%. I'm like, I like that. That was good. Okay, this one here, that was kind of a cool montage in episode 4. The main character like was doing a bunch of underground like MMA matches. So I'm like, okay, that was a good montage.
Yeah, sure. Cool fight scene montage.
Yeah. I wasn't impressed with the fight choreography in the first episode. It was like a group choreography, but they had a montage of like one-on-ones, and those were good fights, which was weird that they had that disconnect. And then episode 6, the last episode, they had a big brawl, and the character I liked, who's always got a baseball bat in the games, he strolls out with like 2 baseball bats. And so for like 2 minutes, he's like wailing on people. That looked pretty fun. But then I'm disappointed because they severely underused that character, and he's a main character in the games. The 10 minutes from the first episode 3, the first 10-minute segment was him. So I can pick out, that's what I liked. Everything else was their own story that they wrote, because it was barely related to the actual story. It was so convoluted, and I thought the final episode would tie it all together, and it just didn't.
Really?
It just made no sense. They left it open for a season 2. I don't think there's going to be a season 2.
Sure.
I don't see enough people like praising it or talking about it. So I don't know, maybe in another 10 years they'll give it a try and actually be true to form. So it's 4 out of 10. If you're a fan of the show, it's like those scenes are like maybe a 6, but it's probably like, if you're a fan, you're probably like even more mad. So it's like a 2 or 3. It's like not.
Yeah.
It's worse.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's always a travesty when that happens.
Another one bites the dust.
Video game adaptations, man.
Yeah. The story didn't make sense. It was weird.
You got a bunch of tardos right in the...
Yeah. They wanted... So one of the main antagonists, to sum it up, they had way too many characters. And I mean way too many characters.
6 episodes?
Yeah. And they didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, because it's 6 episodes.
6 episodes, so many characters, and they were doing this whole time, this 1995 and this 2005. They were doing 2 simultaneous timelines.
In 6 episodes?
In 6 episodes, too many characters.
What the heck, man? That's ridiculous.
So I told you the one character I liked from the games, he showed up for 2 minutes in the 2005 timeline, and that was it. That's when he's got his classic eye patch. He's getting his own spin-off game in a few months. Like,
very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. But they didn't know what to do with them because they had too many characters.
Yeah. And
so that, and then one of the main antagonists from the games, and he is, I think, one of the main antagonists in the show. I think. You don't really know that until surprise reveal with 10 minutes left on the final episode. He in the games, he has this like big sacrifice, this big redemption moment. When you're like, oh, okay, he was kind of good. And it's like one of the main characters like bro, but he turned evil, but he has a redemption moment at the very end. His redemption moment in the show is they're fighting, the protagonist, the antagonist, the bros, and then like the antagonist just decides to like stab himself or whatever. Like they're going in for like a punch, and it looked like he accidentally like turns the knife on himself. And like, but his sacrifice didn't mean anything. There was no redemption. He was just like, and I'm gonna kill myself. You know, this is the main character's like, what? No, what are you doing? After he's been stabbed like 12 times, he's bleeding all over. But this guy stabs himself once and he's dying. That's another complaint. But there was no redemption. There was no reason why he had to do that. So like, I didn't understand his character motivations really at all. But then to top it off, even though I personally felt like his redemption was meaningless, sacrifice meant nothing, the main character carries his body up and to where the brawl was happening, like up at the street level, and there's ambulances there now, and he like puts him on an ambulance, they put him on breath, and like they say like they send him off to the hospital like he's still alive, and then the episode ends, and I'm like, so his sacrifice literally wasn't even a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And if he's still alive, he dies in the game because it was an actual redemption, and he kills another bad guy and saves the good guys. And this was just like, what? That didn't make any sense. It was bad character writing, bad story writing.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, it was not worth the watch. Don't do it.
Yeah.
No.
That sucks.
Video game adaptations. Nothing more to say.
I have 2 things that are exciting. One is a hopeful.
Okay.
Dune Prophecies is on HBO now.
Oh, it came out. All right.
Came out on, I think, this week. I think this week was the first episode.
Give me some hope, Steven.
I haven't watched it yet because I'm trying to finish my current show, which is the other thing I want to talk about. It looks, from the ads, amazing. They have great actors and actresses.
Okay.
I think because it's a prequel that most people don't know that there's not really a ton of room to screw the story up.
Okay.
They 100% could.
They could.
Because Hollywood writers suck dick at writing stories. But
yeah,
HBO has a track record of producing some high quality TV shows.
Usually, yeah.
Even if, I think at least visually and action wise and like everything else, it should be good enough.
The story writing, even if they change something in the adaptation.
I think the actors are going to be able to deliver the lines the best way possible.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like cheesy or corny or anything like that. Even if because that can happen. Even if the writing's super good,
it feels low budget.
Low budget if the actor is like, "Oh no, how dare you do that?"
Yeah.
Like.
If everyone's on board, the actors, the director, the cinematography, everything works.
Coalesce into a good product. I'm very hopeful. Okay. I'm very excited for this TV show. That's all that I have on
it.
I will be watching it.
Prophecies, effort.
It's one of those two. I don't remember.
It's probably on the homepage of HBO.
Probably.
Go take a look.
I will be watching it this week, and I hopefully will have a review next week.
Cool. All right.
The show that I will 100%... my current show...
that you're finishing...
is
this one about trains or something, right?
What?
Yeah, trains. I don't know. Sorry, what?
Is that like a joke I'm not understanding?
I thought you mentioned something like, it was about like trains in 1930s Europe or something. I could have sworn you mentioned this. Pull up the tape. Steven's like, I'm really into the Industrial Revolution, and
I mean, it is cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're thinking of the Empress that I told you about,
okay.
Where it's the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
That's it.
And they're trying to industrialize and make their railroad system.
Trains.
There you go.
See, there you go.
I don't know how you pulled that out of that, but
I knew it. Yep. Pull up the tape. I told you. I'm not a liar.
That's a good show. The Empress. Watch it in German with subtitles.
Watch it in Austro-Hungarian.
It's German. Okay, so the show I'm currently watching is, I would say, probably one of the most... it's probably... How do I say this? It's not my favorite TV show that I've ever watched.
Okay.
But it is the best TV show that I've ever watched.
Interesting.
And you might be like, what? How does that work?
Gasp.
I will say it's probably in my top 10.
Okay.
Right? It's called The Pacific. It's an older TV show.
The Pacific.
I think it came out in 2012.
Okay.
2010 maybe. One season, 10 episodes long, an hour and change per episode, so like decent amount of content there. It's about right after Pearl Harbor.
Oh yeah.
And the Marines who go and start fighting in the Pacific Theater.
Yeah.
In all the Japanese controlled territories. And it follows a bunch of different characters, and they all kind of have their own storylines throughout, and it is the most brutal and eye-opening and emotional show I have probably ever watched.
It's Band of Brothers, but in the Pacific Theater. Then that's kind of what that's sounding like.
Yeah, it's not as much because Band of Brothers has like a little bit of a documentary feel.
Definitely, but it is because like you're following each of their stories.
Yeah, it doesn't feel as much like a documentary. It feels like
dramatized, but while still being historical.
So it is historical.
Yeah.
So some of all of the characters that you are named characters are like
real people,
and like, oh, that character who in the show won the Medal of Honor. You look it up. He won the Medal of Honor for the battle that they gave him the Medal of Honor in.
Cool, right? Yeah,
it's like
I like it.
And so I finished the 8th episode, and I had to take a break because the 8th episode almost made me bawl like a child.
Just that brutal, or
oh my gosh,
yeah,
ugh, and like the actors are just out of this world, insanely good.
Yeah, they're depicting World War II.
They are so good, and there's like so much emotion that you understand, even though they're not crying. It's the TV show that exemplified what men go through to a T.
Yeah, okay.
Regardless of whether it's in war or whether it's just
conflict
or whatever, right? It is. I would 100% recommend it. It is a 10 out of 10 TV show.
The Pacific.
It is the highest ranking TV show like I said, I don't know if it's my favorite TV show ever because I've watched some pretty good TV shows. I'm very partial to Peaky Blinders, for example.
Yeah.
Which I think is a great TV show as well, but I don't think it's a perfect TV show.
Yeah.
This show I think is perfect.
Feels perfect. No.
I have no notes.
No criticism.
No notes. No notes other than you have to go watch it.
You're like, I'm going to sit down and take some notes, and by the end, it's just you're like drawing Iwo Jima, and they're raising the flag or whatever.
For real.
Like,
and it feels
that's all I got.
It's really cool because it feels patriotic, and it feels anti-war.
Yeah.
It feels pro-war at the same time. It runs the gambit of like the feelings.
Yeah, exactly. If they do it so well, you feel like you're learning war, but then, as you said, you're also experiencing their emotions in that time. Like,
yes,
that's cool.
I will say, graphic show.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be. If it's a real historical,
the most graphic TV show I've ever watched.
Yeah. Okay.
The most graphic TV. It looks so real.
It was 10 years ago. I wonder if it ever aired on TV.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it did or not.
Right, because they might not have gotten away with that.
Let me tell you,
maybe HBO.
This might be a little bit too personal, but for someone who's seen a decent amount of people die, equals.
Yeah,
like
takes
equals
cake,
right? Like it's crazy the accuracy, and it's crazy the ability for them to depict how soldiers reacted in that situation and how normalized the violence became.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah, some war movies and shows definitely do that pretty well. That is something that I think is important to see.
So if you're looking for a new show, it's on Netflix.
The Pacific.
10 episodes. I normally suggest watching most TV shows at a expedited speed.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't. This one, I think you need to just spend the 10 hours, 10.5 hours.
Sit down, enjoy it.
Yep. And it's really good because there's these little, not side stories, I wouldn't say, but small tangents that they take, and it incorporates this like really beautifully written like love story of like a soldier falling in love with like a girl he's met while on leave in Australia.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And then
that's real too. Like
and then like the heartbreak that comes along with it because he's getting deployed again, and they don't know if he's coming back. And,
exactly.
You know, all this other stuff, and it's like every time you're like, I like this character a lot, and guess what? The next episode he could just be murdered because that's real. That's probably what actually happened. Like that is brutal. And many characters die, and then you get introduced into a new character, and it's like, you know, maybe he's not gonna live, and you're like, I kind of want this guy to live, and then he does or doesn't, and it's, you know.
Okay, yeah, that is obviously reminding me of like Band of Brothers watching the first time.
Sure.
That is
it. It is very similar.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It does.
So it's getting me excited because I like Band of Brothers. So
I haven't finished Band of Brothers, unfortunately.
That's another long one.
Yeah, I will say, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. I think anyone who has any enjoyment of war shows should watch this show. I think everyone who is over the age of 17 should watch this show.
Disclaimer.
I think it's an eye-opening TV show.
Yeah.
And I think it is masterfully done. I think it is a perfect TV show.
Cool. I'll probably be giving it a watch. I'll go look it up.
I will say, there are some moments of CGI where you're like, that was CGI.
That was 2012 CGI.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not. It doesn't just distract from it, right? But I was like, there's in the 8 episodes I've watched so far, there's only one moment where I was like, The rest of it, I'm like, this is real.
Cool.
So
cool.
Again, I'm a broken record.
The Pacific.
Everyone needs to watch it. The Pacific. 10 out of 10 TV show. It's literally perfect.
It's nice.
Like
I like seeing that real depiction. I think the last one I probably saw similar to that, not to, I don't know, pivot away from the lightness, but Godzilla -1. If you haven't seen it, I know it sounds like a Godzilla movie, but I liked the realistic depiction of a veteran, like in post-war World War II. It was a phenomenal story, just seeing the destruction of war, and you really feel like you get into the emotions of that time period. So that's what that reminded me
No,
of. Like
yeah,
getting
I
into the
agree.
emotions of the soldiers during World War II. That's cool. That's cool
I
to see.
agree.
When people do that well, you feel like you're learning not just history, but like kind of emotionally, you're understanding just more about the human experience, the human feelings. Like, it's cool. It's cool when people do that well.
Yeah, I would 100% suggest it. So put it on your list. Watch it today. Give me a report.
Sure thing.
If you don't have anything else to watch.
I'll finish it, all of it by today.
Good.
Let's talk about Magic. Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering.
For our final segment, I don't know, portion. How should we start? Marvel Secret Lair Madness.
Yeah,
at least relatively quick. I don't know if I have much of an opinion on it, but if you hadn't heard,
I don't have an opinion on it either.
But it is news. Even though everyone was like, Universes Beyond is now 50% of Magic. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. And then Wizards of the Coast says, hey, we're doing this Marvel crossover with Captain America and Iron Man and Wolverine,
Black
Panther, and Storm. There were 5 different packages, 5 different secret layers, and they went live. And then they sold out
instantly.
Immediately. Like, and there's already people reselling orders online. I know some orders already shipped, but like the day they sold out, people were like selling on eBay, like guaranteed pre-order for this price. You're like, there's already people scalping when they don't even have them yet.
Yeah.
Like, it was wild. It was insane.
Scalping is an unfortunate aspect of it, but
it's like,
it's not how you can't stop it.
Yeah, but Wizards of the Coast with their secret layers is they don't. What is it called? They print to demand, or they don't print to demand anymore. I don't know.
I don't think they do not print.
They do not print to demand the secret layers.
Is a good thing.
Probably for the like overall health, and they economically it makes more sense for them, I guess.
Yes.
They can't control the secondary market and the scalpers, and you're right, it's unavoidable. But it was a Marvel secret layer. I think you could have like estimated, like, okay, maybe we need X amount of secret layers, so we'll print those. And then maybe we'll just like throw in another 2 million just to be safe. Because it's Marvel.
Maybe, yeah.
They could have overestimated the number and probably been okay. Not lose a ton of money.
Yeah, and especially with the secret layers, the price, if they're looking at the secondary market, which they claim they don't, but they don't. It would probably still stabilize high enough to make those cards valuable still, because they are something that even non-super high-end Magic players are like, oh, I kind of want an Iron Man card.
As a collector's item.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just to have on the shelf, like, that's cool. It's cool new art of your favorite Marvel characters. Like,
exactly.
Any collector would like that. So,
yeah. But it sold out online. The internet was in uproar about it. I didn't care.
No.
But it was an interesting aspect of, like, I will say that I do take Wizards of the Coast's side on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I'm like, WotC sucks, because most of their business practices, in my opinion, are not good.
Yeah.
They have had some W's recently, actually.
Sure.
The
MSRP returning,
bringing that back.
That's good.
But that's kind of offset by Universes Beyond, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that this is a W on their part, because I do think that if you are making a premium product, it should be a premium product, and that
exclusive.
You should. It's like concert tickets.
Yeah,
it's like concert tickets.
Gotta buy the seat.
You got it.
There's only so many.
You got to do it, and for your favorite band, it might be sold out.
Sure.
And that sucks. But next time you're going to get in line earlier, and you're gonna have them in your cart earlier, or however it works, right? Yeah. But I will say that they should probably, as a caveat to my praise of them, and this isn't a negative to WotC. I don't think this is maybe more on their preparation and anticipation of this selling out as quickly as it did. Although they probably should have seen something coming because of how well the Vocaloid did.
Yeah.
Hatsune Miku.
Perfect.
I said it like 4 times differently in my head, trying to figure out which one was right. That's why I said Vocaloid first.
Yes, yeah, give you a couple extra seconds to think.
But yeah, so when both of those secret layers sold out so quickly, I think they probably should have realized that Marvel and especially these Avengers are more popular than those uh, characters and those other universes beyond offerings. So they probably needed to have a bit more of a robust ordering system and software, because I think there was a bunch of crashes.
I heard that.
Things like that.
People even waiting in line, clicking right as it came live, and then it like crashed.
Yeah,
they couldn't get in.
I think that they needed to have some. I mean, it was effectively a DDoS attack.
Yeah, right.
Not in practicality, but
insane amount of server traffic. Yeah.
So I think that they probably needed to have a little bit more of a robust system, or they needed to have a multi-server system where there was one or two European servers, one or two American servers, one or two, Asia, all of the different continents and so on and so forth. But based on their market size in each of those respective areas, obviously, right? I don't know what their market size in Europe versus America versus Japan versus Africa versus Brazil is, right? I don't know what the market sizes are, or
they stopped printing cards in Portuguese, so I guess
that's true.
To, I guess, counter to your first, so in addition to your second point there, but then I have my own counter as well. So my counter is what I actually believe, but
the math meme.
Some people are like, and they came out and said they're not going to do right. Okay, so let me preface: these are functionally unique cards, and this is a card game, and so you're paying for exclusivity, and then they sold out, and now people don't have access to those cards.
They will.
Maybe at some point, or through scalpers, there'll be enough.
Yeah.
But maybe not as much. Like there was clearly more demand, what have you. But if it's so exclusive and people are like, I can't play with these card pieces now, or they're just priced out of insanity. And they've said that I think they've said for this one in particular, they're not necessarily going to do universes within reprints of everything now. So like they're not going to do a Magic the Gathering character that's a Wolverine card.
Sure.
It's just Wolverine is in the game now. My counter to that, it's funny because every time something like this happens, people on the internet are like, maybe we should just print proxies. Maybe we should just print our own pieces of paper. And then those of us who are firmly in the proxying mindset are like, yes, you should just print your own pieces of paper.
Well, and it's like okay, if this card, if the Iron Man card, for example, or the Storm card, whatever, if they become $1,000 cards,
sure,
right? It's like, well, there are other cards that are also $1,000.
Yeah,
and so if you wanted the real version of that in your deck, you would have to shill out $1,000.
Certainly.
And so if you want Storm as your commander and it's $1,000, well, guess what? That is $1,000 card.
It's because of the demand.
It's like everyone can't have a Black Lotus in their deck.
No, yeah.
Because guess what? The cheapest one is tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Right? So it's like, obviously, the argument that these cards are just going to get too expensive. It's like, well,
yeah.
But the other cards are.
They're never going to be able to reprint them, and they're not going to give us our own Magic version. Yeah, Black Lotus, they can't. Reserved list, they can't reprint those.
Yeah. I think that argument has, on face value, it's like, oh yeah, but then you think about it for 4 seconds, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
they do this all. I mean, this is the reality of the secondary market, right?
If they could just reprint every card that I want all the time, so that I get all the cards that I want for an agreeable price, then yes, this would be a perfect game. But it's a collectible trading card game, so it has to be money ascribed to the individual game pieces.
It's like if you're collecting baseball cards, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I want to collect the 2001 Diamondbacks World Series team and all the cards. Oh, well, the Randy Johnson rookie card is $100,000 because it's Randy freaking Johnson.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do that, so Topps should just produce another one for me.
Just reprint it.
It's like,
I want it.
That's not how this works.
Yeah, plus, like, you get this all the time in a video game, right? Like, when you're working so hard to get the thing you want, the diamonds in Minecraft, you want the next technology tier. If somebody just gives it to you, it's not worth as much.
No, it's like,
you want it because of the prestige, because of what it's worth. And heck, even sometimes when you earn it, then you're like, eh.
A little bit of buyer's remorse, so to speak. Yeah,
but especially when it's just given to you, it doesn't mean as much.
Yeah, for sure. And I will say that is true for the most part. There are things where it's like
when it's real life dollars.
If it was a gift, if I gifted you a signed Randy Johnson rookie card,
definitely,
that would be like,
dude,
oh, what the frickin' A, man? How did you get it? Like
quadruple sleeved, it's framed.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Going on my wall. Exactly. Like, thank you.
Exactly. But if it was like,
if Wizards of the Coast or whoever makes baseball cards just like printed out sheets and sheets of them, they're like, look, here's one that's identical, but it's not the actual one. You'd be like,
yeah, exactly. No, I agree with what you're saying, but yeah.
But if you just want to play the game,
Proxy, man,
you just print pieces of paper and play the game. If you like the game, like let the collectors collect, let the players play. So
and you can be in the crossover gray zone there,
definitely be both,
100%. And I think that's a reasonable thing.
Totally.
I think it's reasonable. There are people who love playing the game and people who love collecting the fancy cards.
Yeah.
And putting those cards in their decks to play the game.
Absolutely.
Go for it. But if you're just trying to play the game and you're pissed off, you're done.
Yeah. I saw lots of people today were like, hey, look at my new Wolverine or whatever. Like they just printed out pretty art of the exact Wolverine card. They didn't have to buy the secret layer.
And you know what? I'm sure if you went to you should probably have one deck that's all not proxies.
In case, you're playing.
In case you go to like a game store to play and they're like, no proxies allowed. Which if you're a game store that does that, like you maybe have rules on what you can proxy.
If you're playing for money,
yes.
Yeah.
But if it's just for fun,
and it's
like, I have a Black Lotus in this deck, and I have, I was going to say Mana Crypt, but
it's banned. Yeah. Jewel Lotus. Oh no. Time Twister. Is Time Twister banned? I don't know.
The Storm cards that you've proxied.
I've got the Power 9 in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Which again, I don't think are banned in Commander. Actually,
Black Lotus is though, isn't it?
Black Lotus might be. No, I don't think it is.
I thought they were. I thought it was.
I have to double check. I barely pay attention to the Commander ban list.
Honestly, no one should pay attention to the Commander ban list if you're playing with your friends.
If you're playing just for fun.
If you're playing with your friends, there are...
If you're playing for money, why are you playing Commander for money?
Also true.
It's not a competitive format. It was never designed to be competitive.
Yeah. I think personally that each group should have their own ban list.
Yeah, really.
Where it's like, oh, I don't want to play against...
Urza, High Lord Artificer. Krenko, Mob Boss.
No, that one's okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm okay with that one. The black deck. The one where he sacrifices all the stupid 1/1s and then it's like, oh yeah, this guy comes back and you have to discard, and this guy, like...
Oh, Turgrid?
I don't remember what the commander's name is, but...
Turgrid's the black one that everyone hates online, I think.
It's the one Caleb plays.
Oh, that one's, that's Shirei... Shizo's caretaker.
I don't like playing against that one. That one pisses me off.
Gotcha. No, the black one online is Turgrid because it's like anytime your opponent discards or sacrifices a permanent, you get them. And so you just like, you make everyone discard their hands and then you just get all of their stuff. It's busted. Yeah.
But like that, it's like...
Yeah.
Like,
you should have your own ban list, which again is like more annoying to manage with your friends, but
like,
you're all...
It's not even like a ban list necessarily.
You're all just there to have fun.
Yeah, it's like, hey, whoever.
Yeah.
I don't like playing against that deck.
Yeah. I know it's hard for like men and or nerds to like talk about their feelings, but like talk about your feelings with your play group. You'd be like, hey, can we like, I'm not really loving that deck. Like,
and if they play it once a month,
you're like, oh, okay.
Or like once every year.
I get it. You get some enjoyment from that deck. So there's got to be some compromise.
But like, if it's like, every single game is like, well, I want to win. I'm going to play Urza. It's like, okay, so your chances of winning are now 90%, and all of us are just like,
yeah.
And then it also starts an arms race.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, well.
And then is that fun for anyone? I don't know. It's fun like once.
Yeah. I do think that it would be really fun to all build, and maybe we just do like a standard deck.
Oh, sure. Just proxy.
Just the most ridiculous proxy deck, like...
High-powered.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a legacy in that case, is like the most high-powered competitive format.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever format, right? Yeah. Or even a commander deck, whatever.
Yeah. Competitive CEDH.
Yeah, just to...
And if that's fun once in a while, great. Like the whole point is you're playing with your friends.
Yeah.
So there should be some kind of self-awareness, but maybe there isn't on the average nerd, average Magic player. But I made the one deck. I played like 2 times, and I was like, this is too much. The Toxrill, the corrosive, it's in his name. He's corrosive.
Yeah.
He's just too oppressive. And I was like, I got some enjoyment out of this deck, but that doesn't equal like the amount of salt from my friends, because that deck feels bad to play against. So I'm like,
well, it's also like a situation where it's like, it's more fun to, like, for example, and this is going to be a really random example.
Sure.
But like, the victory is sweeter when you fought for it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, yeah, the U.S. could win every war or every battle we've ever done. For one or another reason, it might be a little bit unethical.
Sure.
Because it would just destroy the Earth. But we could win. So if your goal is to just win, then it doesn't matter what cards you use.
Nukes.
Right? But if your goal is to have fun and win, then like the victory is sweeter when you've battled for it. Right?
Obviously, somebody wins. It is a competitive game in that sense. Yeah. But you are also.
But like it's fun. Like I have not ever felt bad when it's like a slog out.
It's a really good game, and everyone felt like they were winning at some point. In the game, you're like, oh man, like,
and it's like
this is brutal.
The first person goes out, and the person with the highest total life is like 22.
Yeah,
and then there's like 15 and 10 are like the life totals. You're like,
how's this gonna end?
Like, someone could, like, Steven's playing a big green stompy deck. He could swing for 30 damage. Like,
he's just gonna wipe out the next person.
You know. But then he's tapped out, because I only have, whatever it is.
It's more fun than somebody winning on turn 3.
100%. 100%. And if you, like, that's why I think infinite combos are fun. If they're, like, not just, oh, I play this, and then on turn 2 I play this, and then I win. It's like, you have to dig for, like, the cards you're trying to, it's like a 3-card, 4-card combo. Yeah. Where it's like, yes, and now my machine is complete. I am the artificer now.
the YouTuber MTG Remy, who does like parody songs and videos and stuff, he's got one. He's talking about the modern format actually, but he goes over all the different archetypes in this song or whatever, and the one is Boggles. So he plays like one creature and he buffs it up with all these auras. He's just like, and then I do this and this and this, and then his opponent, who's also him in this kid, is just like freaking out, and then it goes back to the first guy and he's like, you can't interact with that. That's what that feels like sometimes in Commander. Like, and I do this and this and I combo, you can't interact with that. You're like, then why am I playing? Is this a game or is this solitaire? Like, so I have that one in my head sometimes. Like, you can't interact with that. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Commander, it's fun. If you want Marvel cards, print them. Yeah. Boom.
We mentioned briefly there's a little bit of uproar over Universes Beyond. I don't fall into either camp necessarily. Yeah. I do think that it's a mistake, but I'm not outraged by it.
Sure.
For background, Universes Beyond, the out-of-universe sets, Universes Beyond, hence the name, is now 50% of the prints for next year.
Yep. And presumably.
Probably going forward, we're assuming, right?
At least. It's the future of Magic. Huh?
Yeah, it feels like they're taking some liberties with how fantasy-ish their fantasy game is. Yeah. Even with their in-universe stuff. Like,
we're doing sci-fi Death Race, I think, is the next standard set. So
yeah, and it just feels like Tron. Yeah, light bikes.
Mario Kart. I don't know.
Which, in my opinion, is, and we kind of mentioned that when Duskmourn came out. It was like,
yeah, it felt too like real technology.
Yeah.
Like, this is a CRT. That's a baseball bat. That's So that's a chainsaw.
I don't know. Just feels like their fantasy game is turning more into a sci-fi fantasy game.
Yeah, it's just turning into whatever sells, I guess.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
However, if they're selling cards.
If you're still playing what you enjoy.
I don't know if it will be as successful for longevity-wise as it will be short-term.
When you start to muddle the IP, which again...
And I do think, and I made this prediction when we were talking as a friend group, I do think that in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be a format that is in-universe.
Yeah, probably.
An in-universe format. I don't know what it'll be called.
There's already like fans trying to start it, so I...
Sure.
Yeah, I believe.
And it won't be an official thing. It'll be like Commander started off as.
Yeah.
And Pauper is, right? where there's not an official game.
Yeah, Wizards
right?
Coast doesn't like sell product for it. Well,
They don't like Commander.
Yeah, they don't own it. Oh,
Yeesh.
as it started.
Yeah. So I do think that there will be a in-universe.
Yeah.
Stick
to the Magic story, the Magic universe,
and whether that is a version of Commander, or whether it takes a new form as a new format entirely.
competitive 1v1 something.
Yeah. 3-player. I don't know what the answer is there, but I do think that this is my official prediction that there will be some sort of new format that is just in MTG universe.
Yep.
Anyway,
you heard it here first, folks.
Yes.
Trademarked.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to your card of the week?
Magic card of the week. Talking about weird art, or not weird art, but rather out Marvel cards and half Magic not being Magic anymore. I was looking up some cool old art cards, just like some really metal stuff.
Sure.
In universe Magic that were still semi-playable. So I was actually reading a pretty neat article about like, hey, here's some old cards with cool art that are usable, and I'm like, I should maybe subscribe to that article, because that's kind of what we do with our card of the week. We try to find like cool things that are somewhat playable, and I like cool art. So this one, I'm sure I've seen it at some point, but I thought it was cool and it's usable. It's called Ghost Way.
Ghost Way.
One word, Ghost Way. It's a 2 and a white, 3 mana instant, and it's old wording, but I'm sure it says exile now. But it's remove each creature you control from the game, and then return those creatures to play under their owner's control at end of turn. So it's you exile them, they're gone until the end of the turn. They come back, and the art is cool.
Is it an instant?
Yeah, instant speed. Well, similar to like a Teferi's Protection, you can protect your creatures until the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's been phased out by Teferi's Protection now.
Mm-hmm. What was the price? I know you said this.
As 3 mana.
3 mana. So a little bit better than Teferi's.
Looks like the Lord of the Rings, the Ghost Army, but they're like melded in with like a real army. So as they're like turning into ghosts and then like reappearing.
That's actually really sick art.
It's cool. I think that's well made.
That's really sick art.
Ghost Way. We'll flash it up.
The freaking flavor text is dope.
The flavor text is pretty metal too. Yeah, go for it.
I watched its blade swing through me, but I was hollow, empty. I saw its face contort in rage, but I could not hear it snarl.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty metal.
Yeah. So Ghost Way, I thought that one was cool. I had to share the art, and again, semi-playable.
Yeah, I think very playable.
Protects your army, as well as if you have enter the battlefield effects, you get all of those again. So it's good. It's pretty good. At instant speed.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to play it as a game-winning thing with ETBs.
Yeah.
Enters effects.
Enters.
Like do it at the end of someone's turn, and then they come back at the end of the turn still.
Yeah.
And then they do all their stuff, and then you have them again. So
and they're back. I like it's cool if somebody attacks you, you can declare all their blockers and then blink them. So unless they have trample, their attack is just nullified.
Yeah, what's interesting is that it's different than Teferi's Protection, because Teferi's Protection just phases everything out.
Phases out.
So there's no ETB effects.
Correct.
This one is better in that sense because it does exile them and then bring them back.
So they're gone. They lose the any +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want to do it in like a green stompy deck, probably.
Sure.
But
there's a lot of white, and like white blue is known for abusing the enter the battlefield effects.
You couldn't do it with white weenies though, because exiling the tokens would then
all the tokens are gone, unfortunately.
So you'd have there. I'm sure there's a synergy here where it works well, but you have to craft it well enough, right? Bare
minimum protects you from a board wipe, which is good. Like if your tokens are going to die anyway, you might as well save the rest of your creatures.
100%. Yeah. So it came. I like this one because unlike Teferi's Protection is just protection.
Yeah.
This one, it seems like there's more use cases. It's not as good because you can still take damage yourself and like all the other stuff.
Sure.
But
in Commander, versatility is key. Like
and I think this might be versatile enough to be good.
Ghost Way. Yeah. And you got some cool art to boot.
What is the price of it? Do you know?
No, I don't know actually. I can look up quick. Yeah, TCG Player. My app.
the app.
If it loads, Ghostway. Surely it's got to be cheaper than Teferi's Protection. The lowest price I see is like $1, maybe $2. It's not bad.
Compared to Teferi's Protection, which is $45 or something like that now.
Yeah. Let me see. Ghostway had a retro frame reprint for like $1.
Not bad.
Teferi Protection. Come on, app, go. The cheapest one is $34. 30, yeah. Teferi's Protection.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Right.
Cool card.
Cool card.
I like the art's sick. The flavor text is sick.
I enjoyed it. I was like, oh.
Let's bring back simple cards that have sick flavor text.
Yeah. Remember
Make
flavor
magic
text?
great again. MMGA.
MMGA.
Should we have hats that say that? That'd be funny.
That would be good. Yeah, get them custom made.
Yeah.
Trademark. 5G podcast. MMGA.
That would be very, very funny.
Make magic great again. We'll go protest outside Wizards of the Coast headquarters.
I think that hat would be hilarious to wear.
With all the Universes Beyond stuff.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Magic great again. Until they get that new format. Until they make that new format for us. That's what we'll protest for. Our demands.
Our demands are that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would, if that happened, I wonder if that would decrease the value. If it became a widespread mainstream, there we go.
Yeah.
Format, like Commander is.
Sure.
Right? I wonder if that would decrease the value of
Universes
Beyond stuff.
There's still collectors for those, but those sell because of collectors and players. So.
And they're all standard legal and all that stuff. So, and modern legal.
Yeah, anything that's standard legal is legal in every format. So standard's the first format. There's so many different formats that all drive prices, and Commander is a big one. So even some commons are driven by Pauper. Like,
sure. The Basking Brood Walla.
He's a whole 7 cents.
Probably less, to be honest.
Yeah. Lotus Petal, probably the most expensive common. It's like $18 because you can play it in Pauper.
Jeez.
And some decks need 4 of them.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $18 to put Lotus Petals in my Pauper deck.
No.
There's a reason it's called Pauper.
Exactly.
Because my deck should cost $37
total
for everything, including sleeves.
And that's like an average deck price. You could probably even go cheaper.
Yeah.
You
can win. I think my deck, my elf deck that I've made,
was like 25. I think you told me.
20, less than that. Yeah. I'll have to look on
Tapped Out.
Yeah.
To
see what they estimate the price to be, but
that's funny.
I think it was something ridiculously low like that. But anyway,
we're blabbering on. This is our magic card of the week. Thanks for listening. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the 5G podcast.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more.
And we'll see you next time.
Thanks.